Hi, folks. It's Dr. Christine again in Temple. Welcome to the next episode of this Soulful Holistic Health Show, the Weight Loss Edition.
It's so nice to be here, everyone. I just love working with Doc Christine. Not only is she both a medically trained doctor and a naturopathic doctor, but what's lovely about it is she's just so real. And I just love that. So I'm bringing that to you as well. I want you to know how real she is and how much she is able to help so many people with their weight loss, as well as their health and nutrition. So here, Dr. Christine, what are we talking about today?
Deborah, you touched a point there because, the first part of my life, I always felt like a fake. And I actually have a YouTube video where I said I felt like a fake all my life, which is the truth.
Okay.
And it took me to nearly die by my own hand to become real, to learn that there's another side of me than the scientific cold doctor, the typical physician that you know from the office that tells you what to do and then goes home and starts eating, drinking alcohol and beating his wife or abusing them physically. It is typical for physicians that they have domestic violence in their homes. And they have a lot of alcohol and other addiction disorders, especially psychiatrists. They're the worst.
Oh, no.
Who knew? Okay, there you know. So no wonder I struggle too. And it's kind of weird when you have a 400-pound physician smoking a cigarette telling you should stop smoking and go on a diet, right?
Well, isn't that the truth? I know so many people are telling people what to do and how to do it, and in a lecture kind of style where they're not living it. They're not living the lifestyle they're preaching, and people can see through that nowadays, especially when we're searching so hard for the truth and for honesty and for people out there that are real. So I love that that's what you bring to the table, Doc Christine.
At least I try my best because, as my dear husband will gladly confirm, I'm not perfect. For you. Oh my God. Now, Temple, you have a very interesting life story. In the last episode, by the way, I shared a little bit of mine, and you certainly can go back and watch it. But today, I would love to hear from you. How did you become the person you are? There was no struggle at all, right? It was always a clear swim to smooth waters.
That's a question that I've been trying to answer for a long time. Who's Temple Swift? How does she help others? What's my role? What am I here for? I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I've been not a healthy child. If you were to speak to my mother, she would say she was a healthy child. She had asthma, allergies, eczema. And, that was hard growing up. It was hard enough having a name Temple, but even harder to have all of the issues with health and missing school and being in the hospital every year with bronchitis or pneumonia. And I was on a ton of medication. I mean, I've been very fortunately to be able to get off all my allergy and asthma medication in this last 17, 18 years. Now, I guess I've been really medication free. But that was, just the introduction of a high antioxidant, high anti-inflammatory diet that did that for me. But I had so many side effects, like with the medications that I was on as a child. I had so many side effects and so many things. I've broken almost every bone in my body symmetrically, meaning I broke this wrist 4 times and this wrist 3 times, both my ankles and both my feet at the same time. Some of you will remember that while I was in a wheelchair chasing a 2-year-old. But every adversity has led me back to nutrition, back to a high antioxidant rich diet, and really trying to help as many people as I can. Being an entrepreneur, being a business person myself my whole life. I owned my first company at 7 and my first corporation at 16. I feel like I want to give back. I want to help others. And while I can do that while I partner with somebody like yourself, who has the medical background and has the knowledge applied to others, what can be done, different methods that are really interesting that I want to dive into. But I'm trying to use all the things that I've been given, my marketing skills, my ability to speak to the public, my teaching and training background. I have my certificate in education. I taught high school phys ed, biology, and math. And I want to teach others. I want to continue to educate adults and people that can help their families and move on. I'm a mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom with two growing boys now. One is 16 and one is 11. And I say growing because they're self-sufficient. They can make their own lunches and dinners. And but they're super, super great athletes, and we're busy as can be as an athletic family. So people know me as a busy mom. I'm not a super mom. There's lots of struggles. There's lots of, things that I have to work through in order to plan my day. But I love it, and I continue to do what I love. If the things that I love the most paid the most, then things would be even more exciting for me. Like, I love the event planning side of my life and all of the parties and stuff that I do. And people look at me like I'm crazy, and partly I am, I think.
It's great to be crazy. Who says you're not supposed to be weird or crazy or different? I think we all need to be different, because how boring is it when I sit here and lecture about you should do this for your heart health. Take your Lipitor regularly once a day and don't eat so much meat. It's not good for you. Ugh.
Well, that's another part of me. I'm a really big red meatitarian. I love my red wine. And those are the things I'm not really prepared to give up in order to have a healthy lifestyle. Those are my my crutches and my favorite things. And you said to me once, why should I have to give them up if I love them and eat them in moderation? So
Exactly. Because, all the expert advice is based on statistics, and statistics is an average of the whole population. Now, we are individuals. I'm not representative for the whole population. You are not representative for the whole population. But maybe true if the statistics is true. And I'm a sucker for statistics. I say always, do not trust anybody that didn't falsify the statistics themselves, because I know how to do it. I've done it. And I'm ashamed to say I've done it, because my boss told me what the outcome of the study was supposed to be. And I know many scientists do that to keep their job, to keep the grant, to make the industry happy that pays them. So always follow the money trail, number one. Don't just believe everything that some expert tells you. Even and Buddha said that. Don't believe anybody. Even if I say something, only trust the things that agree with your value system, your beliefs, and your gut feeling.
Well, and I've done a lot of work this year on really educating myself on what my gut is saying and using my intuitive ability to tune in to more and more things. I've always been intuitive. I've always been able to, really connect. But this year, I've really focused on the study of both spirituality as well as the ability to trust your intuition. And I think that that's what's got me as far as I have in life is intuitively, I've just known what's best for my soul, and I've gone after it.
And it's so important. We are one. We are a body, mind, soul, and we need to reestablish the connection. We need to reharmonize our body, mind, spirit, soul to really become the person we are meant to be and fulfill our mission here on earth. And most people, I think over 80%, believe in a spiritual source, God, Yahweh, Allah, whatever you choose to call it, that there's higher being, there's some form of energy that is important for us. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
I believed for the first 38 years of my life as a doctor. I said, it's all nonsense. I don't need no God. I'm God. I tell you what to do and you're healthy. And when I was sick and helpless, I figured, wrong. I've been so often wrong in my life. And if you are listening to that and you feel you are wrong, you're right. You're probably wrong if you think you're right, because I've so often thought that I'm right and I was wrong. And you know what Henry Ford said? Whether you think you're right or you're wrong, you're right.
Yeah, I think what you need to know what's right for you. And when I made the decision to get off all my allergy and asthma medication, I did not consult a doctor, and I don't think that's right. I think I should have probably consulted a doctor. That's what society said to me. Make sure you're doing what's right for you. But I was watching, like nobody knows my body more than I do. and what's happening to it, and what, why it feels different or why it doesn't feel different. I know it the best. So I was able to get off of all my allergy and asthma medication by weaning myself off. And then my fibromyalgia disappeared, and so did my irritable bowel and all of my other issues that were side effects of those medications for my body. That was for me, that it wasn't working for me.
Right.
So,
And I've experienced that in my own body. And I've talked to many people on my podcast and also in those calls that you can have, like, book a call, 123 Sparkle, tell me your story. I'm curious to hear it. And I know that many of my clients, they tried to get off medication. They didn't know enough. And they asked maybe their physician. The physician said, no, that's typical medicine. No, you can't get off your drugs. You need them or you'll get sick again. And when you believe what they're saying uncritically, you will get sick again. Because you need to have a plan. You need to have the knowledge. And if you don't want to study for months, years, hours, how to do it the right way and make your own plan and then follow the plan and not suddenly stop forever, you have to have a plan. Then you need to find a knowledgeable person. I can do that for my clients, but there's other physicians, functional doctors, and other naturopaths that do similar things. And whatever, pick somebody that is knowledgeable, ideally that has done it themselves, because they know the best. Whatever we've done ourselves, we studied much more. And that's why they say in medical studies, every medical student gets Hodgkin's disease in the first semester. Very important. Medical students always get Hodgkin's disease. That means you believe as a medical student you have Hodgkin's disease. When you study diseases, you learn about Hodgkin's, cardinal symptoms, lymph nodes in the neck, you palpitate. Everyone has lymph nodes in the neck, so you find some, okay? Then you're tired. Who isn't tired when they're a student? And that's the cardinal symptoms. That's really enough to think, oh,
I see
must
what
be
you're saying.
Hodgkin's.
So they believed in what they were studying, that they found it in themselves, then they believed in that fact that they were receiving the disease. I understand it now. I misunderstood you completely when you first started talking about it, but now I get what you're saying, is that not they really just, you have to believe in what you're doing. You have to know enough to help yourself. And the more that you can understand about, like, you said, nutrition and your body and how it works and your systems and reducing that inflammation, I think you're going to be very successful in taking care of you. And you're the one that has to do that. So
Exactly.
mind, body, and spirit.
And I always tell my patients or clients, never ever believe an expert. You are the expert for your body. You are the expert for your person.
Well, I wish you were my doctor growing up.
As a physician, as a consultant, I can only be a consultant. I can say, that makes me think of this. Maybe that should be evaluated. And then you can make the decision whether that feels right for you. And that's how the physician-patient interaction should be. The physician as an expert consultant saying, I think this may be helpful. Here's the pros and cons. What do you want? And not just saying, you have to do this or else I'll throw you out as a patient. That's not the right approach in my books. Because
right.
physicians,
well, like you said, everyone is different. So, and every body is different. And we are aware of that, and anybody that's listening. But I do encourage you to make that free call to 123sparkle.com. That gets you right into setting up a call with Doc Christine. And I know I wish she was my doctor growing up, because if somebody would have listened to some of my issues, I think that I would have been a lot healthier as a child, as a young adult. And I'm just really grateful that she's in my life now, and she's helped a lot of people.
Well, thank you so much, Temple. And really, you're right. There should be much more choice on the side of their patients if they are adults, and the parents if they look after children. Because the choice is always on the individual in our society. It shouldn't come from anybody else. The same as our state can't tell us whether to go out at night or not. At least at the present time here in Canada and the US, we can't. I hopefully never will, because
Absolutely.
that is called freedom. And there's also medical choice and medical freedom. And it's very important. And you cannot make an informed choice when the doctor says, except for emergencies, you should have that surgery. And then you're maybe too intimidated to ask, why? What's the alternative? And maybe they don't know that there's a natural alternative. Many physicians these days are so inundated with detailed knowledge about details that they cannot fathom the overview and they don't know what else is available. So if you are the expert for your physician, for your body, we have the internet, the World Wide Web, we have shows like these. We have free calls with experts, not just with me, there's others too, but you're welcome to call. And I read or comment below, put questions below. I answer every question. I actually have a subscription service if somebody can't afford my high ticket normal services. I have services for everybody where they can ask questions by email and get answers by email. That doesn't cost much. Come on. Who can ask the doctor for $40 a month? Come on, that's cheap enough. But of course, there's a limit to individuals. So there's other people too that have to do the same thing for it to work.
But Doc Christine will answer all of your questions if you write them below the video here as we post them and as we share them with you. That only helps others because the answers will then also be available to the others. If you want a private call, please reach out and call her.
And let us know for the next shows, what do you want us to talk about? What do you want to know? I have a vast medical knowledge. Temple has a lot of life experience and knowledge. You're a nurse, right?
No, I was never a nurse.
Okay.
No, I did never a nurse. Kinesiologist and biology. Plus, I've just had so many things go wrong in my body. I feel like an expert.
You were so smart that I thought you were a really good nurse, which is, you would have made a very good nurse, by the way. But whatever, maybe you're better off being what you are. I hope you are, because you're a wonderful person. And I really.
I think I was a nurse in another life. And I was a surgeon apparently in another life too.
I love that other life illusion. We have to talk about that more because I have a few things to say about it.
All right, that's another show. We'll
okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Watch out for the show. Bye-bye.